Hey guys, what's up? It's Patrick here, and today bringing you guys the next episode of my Quest to 4,000 Trophies series, and today we're going to continue on our rise and try to get up to 3,600 trophies. So I had a lot of success with GoWiPe in the last episode. I'm going to keep using it today. Probably going to tweak around the amount of balloons, wall breakers, and wizards that I use, but let's go ahead and get into this first base and to see if we can get at least a 2-star against it. Alright, so deciding where I want to attack from. I see the clan castle on the top, so I know I'm going to be able to take that out, or at least get the clan castle troops out. I'm going to drop all 4 of my balloons. Looks like there's a couple of wizards, so I'll lure those guys out up top. And then looking where I want to attack from, I feel like attacking through the bottom is going to be our best bet. So I see one of the Inferno Towers is pretty close to the wall in the center compartment on the very bottom. That's going to be a little bit of an advantage, so I should be able to shoot that down with my Wizards and my Archer Queen. As well as for the placement of his heroes, I feel like it's more beneficial to attack through the bottom. So let's go ahead and try to take him out. Alright, so wizards are making their way down. I bring 6 barbarians with me every time to make sure that whatever troops are in the clan castle can make their way to the corner of the base. And then now that I drop my clan castle, looks like we'll be able to take that out, and now I'm going to start dropping my golems and try to destroy his base from the bottom. So like I said, his queen is on the bottom, and I'd rather have the queen on the side that I attack from than the other side, because if I try to attack this base from, say, the top, sometimes the queen will run in at the very end when I'm trying to destroy his town hall and sort of cause chaos for the raid, so I'd rather take care of her in the very beginning. Alright, so P.E.K.K.A.s have gone down. Wizards are doing work. Looks like my golems are doing a good job in the center. There is a giant bomb that's going to take care of most of my witches and a couple of my wizards, but I still have plenty of troops left, and as long as we make our way to the center of this guy's base, I feel like we really shouldn't have that much of a problem. So we're sitting at 30%, a little bit less than what I would like for my wizards on the outside. Usually they can get somewhere to around 40 by now, and now that the town hall is down, just focus on getting to 50, and we'll be able to surrender shortly after that. So 42%, still have my king and my queen's abilities. I really just focus in on those a lot halfway through the raid. After I've dropped all my troops, I sort of just focus on the hero icon bars and try to drop my king and queen's ability at their lowest potential point. And now that we're at 50%, can go ahead and end the battle and wrap it up for this raid. Alright, so 16 trophies, really solid raid right there. Things went pretty perfectly. They went exactly how I wanted to, except for that one giant bomb destroying a lot of my troops. And maybe I could have done a better job on the golems and wizards on the outside, but I'll definitely take that 2-star, and let's go ahead and move on to this next base. So for ABK's base, let's go ahead and take a look at what he's got. I'm going to drop my balloons on the bottom left because I should be able to lure out that clan castle fairly easily. So balloons are going down. Looks like he has some archers and some wizards. After those guys come out, we have to decide where we want to attack from, and I have an interesting choice whether I want to attack through the top or whether I want to attack through the bottom. And like I said in the last one, I wanted to attack through the bottom because the Archer Queen was actually closer, and I'm going to do the opposite thing for this base just because when I looked at the top, I didn't see many potential places where giant bombs could be. So I'm sort of going against the logic of the last raid, but since the top was really condensed, if you looked at the buildings, all of them are super close together, and I didn't see a point where a giant bomb could be. I'd rather attack through the top, knowing that most of my witches and wizards will survive, and it's going to make my chances of succeeding with this raid a lot greater. So golems and wizards are going down. If you look, the only place a giant bomb could be would be between that cannon and the archer tower on the left-hand side. Everything else is closely knit together, and I feel like we're going to have a pretty easy raid after we get through these first couple of layers. Alright, so P.E.K.K.A.s and heroes are going down. I'm going to go ahead and spam those wall breakers. Shortly after those wall breakers go in, I'm going to drop my jump spell to jump over a couple of layers, but I'm just going to wait it out to see exactly when I'm going to have to do that, because most of my troops are making their way to the center. I don't see a lot of them spreading out to the left or right, so I'm actually going to hold on to my jump spell for now, and as soon as that X intersection goes down, I can drop my jump spell on the left side of the town hall. Alright, so things are looking great. Like I said, the Archer Queen could be a pain in the end of this raid, but I am going to drop that second rage spell, as well as my jump spell is going to make it so my king doesn't have to hack and slash through that wall. We're sitting at 47% already. Like I said, my witches would survive because there were no giant bombs, and that really helped me out through the entirety of the raid, and we already got 50% and got our 2nd star for the base. So I'm going to go ahead and activate both my king and my queen's abilities, since I'm not going to be able to get 3 stars in that base and end the battle shortly after that. Another 15 trophies, and if I can get a rate like this, I'm definitely going to climb up to 4,000 in no time. So pretty solid raid right there. Let's go ahead and continue, see if we can get a 3-star maybe, and go ahead and check out the third base we have here. Alright, so attacking this guy's base, I see his clan castle on the bottom, and deciding where I want to attack from, the right side might not be bad. I could also attack through the bottom if I really wanted to, but let's go ahead and drop my balloons and see exactly what he has inside of the clan castle. So I dropped all 4 of my balloons, and I assumed that I wouldn't have anything to worry about inside of the clan castle, so now I just pretty much have a free choice where I want to attack from, and I decided I would attack from the top right portion of the base. Like I said, I want to take care of that queen as soon as possible. The queen more so than the barbarian king, because the queen can hide behind a wall and really mess up your entire raid, whereas the king is just going to attack you one-on-one and not have to fight behind a wall. And as I drop most of my troops, things are looking pretty good so far, and I'm going to slowly drop my P.E.K.K.A.s and my heroes to attack through the center of the base. So there is that queen there, and now that she's down, most of my wall breakers are making their way in, but you can see the balloons right there, and I actually didn't know this until today, but apparently you can't lure out balloons with your balloons. I don't know why I've never known that, probably because this is one of the first days I've ever used balloons to lure out the clan castle troops, but I guess you do learn something new every day. And apparently you can't lure out balloons by using your own balloons. So I got to keep that in the back of my mind. Maybe giants are better because of that fact, but it looks like my jump spell was placed in a perfect direction, destroyed the town hall, already got 50%, and we can surrender, or I guess end the battle shortly after this one. So only 16 trophies available. We ended up stealing around 10 or 11, and let's go ahead and end the base, or end the battle in the second after I do a little bit more carnage against this guy's base. I was holding out the chance maybe my queen could be a beast and follow up the golem and try to get to 3 stars, but in the end, 11 trophies, 229,000 gold, pretty good amount of dark elixir and some regular elixir, and yeah, solid raid. Let's go ahead and move on to raid number 4 and see if we can do the same exact thing. Alright, so 22 trophies on the southern teaser base. Looking where I can try to lure out that clan castle, I think we can just work from the bottom and make sure that at least there's no troops besides balloons inside of there. And deciding where I want to attack from, I could go from the top if I really wanted to, but most of the time I just attack through the bottom because it's easier, and I feel like we should have a pretty easy time attacking this guy's base. Walls are only level 7 on this bottom hand portion, so that should be pretty easy. And there are a couple of archers and minions, so I want to take care of those. And I'm going to drop my wall breakers like I've done in previous episodes to try to discover giant bombs throughout the raid before my wizards and witches make their way into the center of the base. But first, before we do anything, let me go ahead and drop my clan castle. And once again, I'm just using 2 witches, 2 wizards, a couple of barbarians, and that thing should be no problem. Alright, so while those things are being taken out, I'm going to drop my wall breakers on the left and the right hand side so I can spread my golems out and I don't clump them all up in the center, which is pretty important when you're attacking a base like this. And let's go ahead and attack, and I'm going to slowly drop my troops around the base. Alright, so golem in the center, golem on the left and the right, wizards are going down in the center, as well as my P.E.K.K.A. And now you can see I'm dropping some wall breakers, and those guys are going to be my little detectors to find any giant bombs. They already found 1 giant bomb right there, and no troops were destroyed because of that. I'm imagining there's another giant bomb closer to that clan castle, but unfortunately my wall breakers weren't pathing in that direction. So I'm going to deal with that once I get there, but overall my troops should still be strong enough, and my king actually ran over both of those giant bombs, so I'm not going to have to worry about that for the rest of the raid. So the raid's actually going really, really well right now. I think we have a pretty good chance of at least attempting to get 3 stars, but unfortunately I might have dropped my free spells a little bit too early because those Inferno Towers are just doing work on my wizards, and before you know it, nothing is left on my back line, and unfortunately we're not going to have a shot to get 3 stars because all I have is my king and my queen. I'm going to drop my jump spell to make sure my king takes a couple smacks at that expo, and we're just going to have to focus on getting 50% for this raid. And unfortunately we went from having a good chance to getting 3 stars with all those troops left to fighting for a 2-star, and I'm going to have to rely on my queen to shoot down these last couple of buildings. Alright, so pretty comfortable 2-star there. My queen's probably going to be able to destroy a couple more buildings, but I'm going to end the battle after that, so she's at full health. 50%, another 14 trophies, and yeah, some pretty solid rating today. Unfortunately, no 3 stars, and let's go ahead and check out what we got back at base. So we're sitting at 3,611 trophies. So we officially caught up to where we were before. We're going to keep on pushing to make sure we keep getting some trophies. I'm going to keep using GoWiPe and try to get some 3 stars against some of those higher maxed out bases. And yeah, the push is definitely back on. Let's go ahead and make our way to 4,000 trophies. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.